So, Starfield's out, and well, some people really love it, some people really hate it, and some people are too busy playing Baldur's Gate 3 to care enough. But I'm not here to talk about what Starfield is, how it plays, how its graphics are, yada yada yada. I am here to tell you what Starfield could have been, especially since a game like No Man's Sky exists. Trust me, at the end of this video, you are going to see that there is a game of a generation waiting to happen. Okay, so first, for some background, let's see what works in Starfield and what people really loved. Well, that is really easy to answer if you ask me. It's the Bethesda charm, the stories and role-playing. You know, I know, all the gamers know that Bethesda's storytelling just hits different. Well, that and other things we'll discuss in a bit. I'm sure most of us remember the enthralling side quests in Bethesda games, from the Dark Brotherhood questline in Skyrim to the USS Constitution in Fallout 4. Bethesda just knows how to make a world with interesting stories to tell. I wish the same could be said about their main storylines, which are unfortunately bland compared to side quests, but nonetheless, it's the same story, pun intended, in Starfield. People love the sci-fi stories Bethesda has hidden for us in this game, and when you have a good story, you can add RPG mechanics that make them so much more. Just like you could be a mayor in your own settlement in Fallout 4, or a living, breathing, blood-sucking vampire in Skyrim. Oh, sucking all of Welcome, the memories. That's what she said. Similarly, you can be a pirate, an explorer, or a shipwright in Starfield. There are a lot of other things that Bethesda got right here, like lovable companions, amazing world building and world design, lore, and though not best in the industry, relative to other Bethesda games, combat mechanics and skill trees. On the other hand, what are the things people hate? Well, that it's a Bethesda game. I know, kind of ironic, but Moist Critical sums it up the best, and it's that some people were looking for more than what Bethesda usually delivers. They don't hate the Bethesda formula per se, but like the Ubisoft open world formula, they are tired of it. And with the most ambitious game Bethesda has made so far, people expected more of an evolution. Another thing people didn't like was, it's empty. Like a lot of space games, hint hint, the world, or more aptly the universe, felt really empty. That's because when you stretch too wide, you become too shallow, as wide as an ocean, as deep as a puddle. In the name of exploration, Bethesda did add thousands of planets, but who cares about those planets if 100 square meters of them is practically the same as the entire planet itself, forgetting invisible walls for now. Empty barren wastelands are only interesting to look at for the first 5 minutes. Then it all just becomes a blur with nothing really to do. Unlike Skyrim, where you couldn't cross a river without discovering some cave, dungeon, side quest, or maybe an enemy camp, Starfield has a lot of fluff, and that fluff is devoid of Bethesda's trademark. Stories. Keep this in mind for later. Anyway, the last thing that people didn't like was the technical and performance aspect, but honestly there's no point in talking about it, nor is there any benefit. Just retire the creation engine, Bethesda, it's time to move on. Now let's look at another little game called No Man's Sky. I swear, that game's launch will always be remembered in the annals of gaming history.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
It had a notoriously bad launch, primarily because Sean Murray oversold it so much, like it was going to be the damn Sword Art Online in real life everyone was waiting for or something. Though do cut him some slack, PR is a professional skill, and when someone without experience tries to do it, well, you saw what happened. The other thing that contributed to this disastrous launch was, wait for it, it was completely empty. Remember the other thing I said earlier? There was nothing to do in it other than hop down on a planet, oogle at it for a bit, then jump onto another one over and over until you reach the center of the galaxy, only to be thrown back to another galaxy and start from the beginning, aka New Game Plus. However, after countless free updates, Hello Games has definitely won back their honor. There are a lot of things you can do in there right now, and I mean a lot. All the things promised, like multiplayer, a Dune-like planet with giant worms, large-scale space battles, and planetary dogfights, are all in there now. But Hello Games did not stop there. They kept adding and adding. Let me remind you again, all for free. This game is so full of content that the asking price, which frequently goes on sale too, is totally worth it. Except there's still something missing. I love playing this game, don't get me wrong. I play this game when I'm just tired of other games and want to relax while listening to a podcast like Trash Taste or Friends Per Second. But I don't actively look forward to playing it like I did when I played other games. I felt like there was always something missing. Is missing when I play it even today. And I know what it is. It lacks purpose. If you remember my video about why survival games are addicting, there are some survival games I call limitless, which is because there isn't a game over or a final goal you are working towards, unlike completable survival games. These games only work if you want to play it, if you set your own goals, and if you are still interested. It won't lead you anywhere, even though it will give you mechanics upon mechanics with nothing urging you to complete them. I suppose it's an RPG in that sense, where you can become a trillionaire who owns a space frigate, or a space pirate, or a scientist who documents different species, but it's not an RPG when you realize you aren't interacting with anyone. There's no story or choices that define you, no consequences, no one around you. It feels almost meaningless. I'm being melodramatic here, which is my trademark, and yes, you can argue that survival games don't need a story, you just need to survive. But, well, either survival games have an end like Terraria, Valheim, and even Minecraft, or they do have stories like The Forest and Green Hell. But just forget all that. Imagine if No Man's Sky had a story, and a really good one at that. Before I come to the thesis of this video, how about a like if you found it interesting so far? And subscribe if you're interested in more analytical videos on gaming like this one. Continuing on. This brings me to the point of the video. Imagine if Starfield had a baby with No Man's Sky. Remember, the most loved features about Starfield, or any other Bethesda game really, are number 1, amazing lore, story, world building and design. Number 2, enthralling side quests with interesting stories you love to find the end of. Number 3, lovable characters and companions. And lastly, number 4, awesome RPG elements. Except number 4, those are the things that are missing for me in No Man's Sky. Imagine all of the mechanics that No Man's Sky already has, augmented by some new ones from Starfield. Given purpose by memorable and thrilling stories. Becoming a pirate, becoming a merchant, becoming an explorer can all have a rich story-filled side quest like the Thieves Guild or Dawn Guard. Can you imagine the smooth gameplay and functionality of No Man's Sky with Starfield's stories and role-playing capabilities? I mean, I'm being real with you here, guys. I think that would be the game of the year for me. But I will say that there is a giant caveat in all this. Both games suffer from one thing. They are too large. Yeah, sometimes exploring new planets every day is fun, but largely it all blends into the same thing, doesn't it? So, I would propose that this fusion of a game be more limited in scope. Have like 2 to 3 solar systems and max 4 or 5 planets per system. Then use procedural generation to help you design the bulk of the areas on the planet, but then go in with real designers to build up a world with little intricate details. Imagine a planet like Dune with its own quests. Imagine a planet like Krypton, Cybertron, Hoth, a planet of dragons, a planet of the apes, a planet of who knows what. Is this a big ask? Most definitely. But I don't know. I think with time, procedural generation, AI, and very good story writers to help, this game may very well already be in development. Hint hint, Hello Games. Please make this game and please hire me as a writer. Thank you.